Hi, Will Peet here at the West Village's Slowly Surely cocktail bar on Greenwich and 10th Street. So today for the Venus Aires cocktail competition, I'm going to be making a cocktail called the Flor de Luna. Now, as you can see, this is a cocktail I'm going to be using the Williams & Humbert Oloroso from Donze Yellow Line. It's a 12-year Oloroso sherry. We have Gustau's East India Solera style cream sherry, and we have the Del Maguey Single Village Chichicapa Mezcal. So, this year's for the competition, what I wanted to really do was take from the experiences I've been having over the past year. In years past, what I've done is tried to go for an idea, wanting to make a sherry zombie and trying to force your way into it. This year, I'm taking a lot from the experiences that I've been fortunate enough to come across. Now, for this cocktail, it all started in June when I happened to be in Jerez for the World Copa Finals and found myself in a very peculiar experience of actually drinking some mezcal in the sacristy of one of my favorite bodegas. And at that moment I realized the wonderful pairing of the sherry and the mezcal together, which is where this kind of came from a little bit. Now, taking that a little bit further, I would happen to be at home spending time with my wife and listening to a little bit of music late at night. And this song that I'm not sure if you can hear it is playing. It's from Carlos Santana's 1977 record, The Moonflower. It's the title track, the Flor de Luna itself. And it got me thinking about all that was going on with the idea of the mezcal and the sherry together and how I could maybe make this work with each other, and did a little bit of research and found that there was flowering cacti, night-blooming flowering cacti that grow in and around the agave pinas in Oaxaca. So what I did was I went and sourced some clippings and imported them to my apartment, and as you can see, I actually have one growing here that hopefully will blossom, and then I could maybe use it later on in this competition. But for the Flor de Luna, we're actually going to be starting here with a half teaspoon of agave nectar. Very, very floral. Give the drink a nice roundness. We're gonna have a dash of orange bitters. And then we're gonna start moving into our ingredients here. So, along with the floral agave, I have the very nice and herbaceous Del Maguey Chichicapa Single Village Mezcal. That's in 3/4 ounce. You're gonna do 3/4 ounce of the Gustau East India Solera style sherry. Now again, this is a cream sherry, so a blend of Pedro Jimenez, and in this case it would be Amontillado. What's very special about this is that Amontillado, that biological aged sherry that's hidden inside of this wine, that's blended into this wine, is going to lend a very, very faint sense of salinity and umami characteristic. And also because this sherry has been barrel conditioned to almost recreate the transatlantic journey, hence the name, the East India Solera. And then we have the Donze Yellow Oloroso, the 12-year Oloroso. Now, one last ingredient is going to round this out. Now, this is kind of a funky one. I'm going to do 2 drops of something called ube extract. Now, ube is a purple sweet potato that's found a lot in Polynesian, Filipino, and Hawaiian cuisine. Now, why use this in this particular cocktail is going to be very much based on the fact that, down here, as you can see, I'm basically on the Love Boat, but we have a kind of a culture of a lot of tiki that we do here. There's a gentleman named Garrett Richard who's very much into the tiki scene, and he sources us a product called pandan that has a very aggressive butter popcorn and chocolate note about it for one of the cocktails that we do here. And I tried using it. I thought it was going to be very, very funky and weird and umami, but it was a little too aggressive. And he happened to have this ube extract, which is a much more muted version of that. So what we're going to do is now just take the time to stir up this cocktail.
So 36? Very nice.
Now, since we were using the smoky mezcal, I want to just reinforce not only the orange bitter note, but then also the smoke from the mezcal with a little bit of a flamed orange peel over the top of the drink, which we'll discard. And now playing back into the idea of possibly having this night blossoming cactus flower blooming and hopefully being utilized as a stand-in, I'm just going to use a nice edible orchid, which is also a night blossoming flower, and this is going to be the Flor de Luna. Now, the second part of this competition is obviously we're always trying to utilize the sherry in terms of food pairing as well. Not only just straight pairing as in the Copa Jerez vinyls or in how we would work in the restaurant, but trying to make cocktails that would also sort of get around that hump of being able to work with the food. Now, here in this bar, we don't necessarily have such an intense Polynesian or Southeast Asian tiki foodstuffs, but in the neighborhood though, we do have a few excellent choices for things that would kind of go with this, especially highlighting some of the products that we were using. Now, that ube extract, there's a wonderful bakery just around the corner that serves a sweet potato pastry, utilizing the same sweet potato that's going to be in this, and I believe as a savory dessert to kind of offset the more sharp tones, especially the angles of the chichicapa and the smoke. This is a nice little way to do it, but also in terms of, you know, the amount of sherry that's utilized in this cocktail, you can always get away with, you know, we have Castelvetrano olives that we garnish with, and a nice big bowl of those that are nice and salty and briny. Some of the ones that we soak in vermouth would actually complement the spirituous ingredients as well. But I believe that this is not only a standalone cocktail, but also can be enjoyed at perhaps your afternoon tea with your pastry. So from Slowly Surely in New York City's West Village, Will Peet, this is the floor to